Welcome to the Daily Bible for Kids podcast. The day is January the 18th. My name's Hunter, and we are reading through the Bible. That's something we do every day. We take time in God's Word, and we let His Word take its time on us. Kids from all around the world gather here to listen to these amazing stories from the Bible. And today, we are in the book of Genesis. Esau and Jacob were brothers, and they were not getting along. In fact, Jacob was afraid for his life, so he ran away to go live with his uncle Laban. Let's read about it now from Genesis 28. Meanwhile, Jacob left Beersheba and traveled toward Haran. At sundown, he arrived at a good place to set up camp and stopped there for the night. Jacob found a stone to rest his head against and lay down to sleep. As he slept, he dreamed of a stairway that reached from earth up to heaven, and he saw the angels of God going up and down the stairway. At the top of the stairway stood the Lord, and he said, "I am the Lord, the God of your grandfather Abraham and the God of your father Isaac. The ground you are lying on belongs to you. I am giving it to you and your descendants. Your descendants will be as numerous as the dust of the earth. They will spread out in all directions to the west and east, north and south, and all the families of the earth will be blessed through you and your descendants. What's more, I am with you, and I will protect you wherever you go. One day I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have finished giving you everything I have promised you." Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I wasn't even aware of it." But he was also afraid and said, "What an awesome place this is. It is none other than the house of God, the very gateway to heaven." The next morning Jacob got up very early. He took the stone he had rested his head against, and he set it upright as a memorial pillar. Then he poured olive oil over it. He named the place Bethel, which means house of God, although the name of the nearby village was Luz. Then Jacob made this vow, "If God will indeed be with me and protect me on this journey, and if he will provide me with food and clothing, and if I return safely to my father's home, then the Lord will certainly be my God. And this memorial pillar I have set up will become a place of worshiping God, and I will present to God a tenth of everything he gives me." Wow, what a story. Jacob encounters God, and God promises him that the land that he's lying his head on would be his, and that all the nations of the world would be blessed through him. What an incredible moment. And what makes this story even more interesting is that this isn't the only time that Jacob has a vision of God at this very place. Later on, when Jacob was very old, he met with God at that very same place. He was with his children, and they were all headed to Egypt because there was famine in the land. And his son Joseph had become the governor of all Egypt. And Jacob was taking his family down to Egypt so that they could be spared from starving to death in the great famine. And at that moment, God meets with him and tells him that he's going to go down to Egypt, and there he will die. That Joseph, his son, will be with him as he dies, and that someday his bones will return to that land that God had promised him and all his descendants. I'm sure at that moment, it'd be real easy to feel like the promise that God had given him when he was much younger would never come true. But Jacob, he never gave up on that promise. He continued to believe and to trust God, and God continued to prove himself faithful. And that's a good reminder for us too today, that we should always keep praying and never give up. Even when it looks like things are not working out, we can trust that God will be faithful. We can be like Jacob, and we can trust that God is with us and that he cares. And that, my friend, is good news. Well, hey, friends, we've done it. We've done it again. We've spent another day in the Bible, and I plan on being back here again tomorrow to do the same thing, Lord willing. Lord willing and the creek don't rise, I plan on being here. Until that time, let's go forward in God's joy. Let's let his joy be our strength. And let us always remember this, that you are loved. No doubt about it. Alrighty, I'll talk to you again tomorrow. You guys take care. Bye-bye.